right now at my girlfriend's house. And so you might hear a cat meowing at some point.
Is that your girlfriend?
No, my girlfriend is not the cat.
Okay. Okay. I thought maybe she was like wearing cat ears and meowing at you like.
Oh, yeah, that's I can't safely go anywhere with that joke. So
Can't safely go anywhere with your girlfriend. All those cat ears are just giving you weird looks.
gosh. Oh man. Anyway,
Do you want to start the episode? Do you want me to start the episode?
Let's start the episode, sir.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Freaking Epic Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by sharks. Yes, sharks. If you have any leftover seals, why, just drop them in the ocean. Sharks, they're what's eating your dinner, or something of that nature.
I like it.
Today's episode is totally unobjective. It is part 2 of World's Dumbest Criminals that are not from Florida. That's a very important part. These are not Floridians, because Florida man does anything, right?
Does all of the things.
Yeah, Florida man does all the things. So we're talking about dumbest criminals not from Florida. We left off at probably number 5. We didn't go back and listen, so we're hoping that we're right.
Yeah, I mean, if someone feels that our numbers are wrong, they're probably accurate.
Yeah,
so.
That's literally why we named this podcast Totally Unobjective, because we're essentially wrong about everything.
Everything. All right, man. What do you got?
Number 5. Okay, so there's a guy, and
I'm already intrigued.
Yeah. He's from Ohio, okay? So he's 44 years old. Pertinent details. That's not actually pertinent to what we're talking about, but he is 44. And so he called the cops several times, said that he was having suicidal thoughts. At one point, he said he was holding a knife to his own throat.
Yikes.
All of this, do you want to hazard a guess as to why he was calling and why he was suicidal?
Video game player.
No. His
he
pet
was
pig.
Losing at Magic the Gathering.
Close. His pet pig ate. He called the cops and told them that he was suicidal because his pet pig ate all of his pot.
Wow.
Yeah. Basically, he was so upset about his pig eating all of his pot that he drank an entire bottle of Everclear and proceeded to call the cops over and over the entire night.
That's just sad. Like, I don't. You can't find more. And yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least he didn't harm the pig. He just only threatened to harm himself. So.
Well, his wife went ahead and divorced him and put a Facebook post up asking if anyone wanted a free pet pig.
Well, when you said his wife, I was already shocked. But then the second part of that, okay, I guess that made sense. He's a little dramatic.
Yeah.
So what was the criminality of it, though? Calling the police for an invalid reason?
So he got a misdemeanor, 2 misdemeanors, which were actually intoxication and resisting arrest, because when the police came over, he had to be tased down.
Wow. Well, when you're mad about your lack of pot, I guess you can do anything, apparently.
Yeah. So when you drink an entire bottle of Everclear, I had 1 shot of Everclear once and nearly died.
Yeah. Was that from that neighbor guy who made? Oh, that was whiskey, wasn't it?
No, that was the homemade rum. The old guy who just showed up at the party, walked through the party.
Would you like to try some rum?
Are you the boy who I've heard likes some rum? And I'm like, yes, and just very awkwardly follow a guy out to a neighbor's house. And I'm at a party, so very awkwardly just follow this guy out to a neighbor's house. I'm like, I might die. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Turns out he had homemade rum, and he gave me some, and then immediately started telling me I needed to eat because that was strong.
Yeah, it was strong rum. I remember that.
Did you come with us?
I remember the party. I remember being there, and I remember the approach. I don't know that I drank the actual rum, but I just remember your retelling of it.
You're like, where are you? Oh, me and Griff went over to drink some.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Actually, was you disappeared and then came back with that story.
All right, what's your number 5?
All right. So, dude, I had some good ones. Hang on, let me pull up my list here. Hold music. Okay, here we are. When Stephen Crane broke into the Ravelli Republic in Montana newsroom, he used the computers to watch porn and check Facebook. Then Crane doused the office with a fire extinguisher, took some candy, and left. It wasn't difficult to find him, however. The police just followed the trail of stolen M&Ms that led to his sister's place across the street.
How do you leave a trail of stolen M&Ms?
And we have so many questions. Like, I have so many questions. One, he just had to look at some adult material so bad that he broke into somewhere, used their computers to do it, and oh boy, I haven't updated my Facebook. So I want to get that. And then this guy was so next level that he was like, I got to cover my tracks, right? So I'm just going to douse everything with the fire extinguishers. Because not only can you cover up your tracks, but fire extinguishers apparently are a great way to clear your search history.
Fire extinguishers don't accept fingerprints. It's a well-known thing.
And then also he took some candy, so I'm guessing he had the munchies and was like, "Oh, M&Ms."
Does it say he was high? It doesn't.
It doesn't, but I think it's safe to assume that this gentleman was on some type of drug. And then how many M&Ms did he take that he left in a trail? Like, I feel like that's just lazy M&M eating.
He just carried them away in two hands, and they're just dropping out one by one every time he tried to pick them up.
That is like, he had to been like handfuling M&Ms to be spilling them on a trail. And then even better to be the cop that walks in there like, oh, okay, there's some adult material here. Oh, somebody's Facebook. Lots of fire extinguisher stuff everywhere. Not sure what really happened here. Oh, there's M&Ms. Let's follow those.
I got to be honest, my favorite part is that he literally lived next door.
Yeah. Just right across the street. So, I mean, on the list of dumb criminals, this guy, and ultimately I think he was a dumb criminal because he didn't have to do any of this, right? Like, if someone robs a store, they're trying to get money, right? They're trying to get wealth or earn something. This guy, he just needed to look at some dirty images, apparently, and access his Facebook. So
I'm like 95% certain you can do almost all of that at home. Maybe your sister doesn't have a fire extinguisher, so you're like, well, crap, I gotta go to the news station, the place that literally reports on stupid things people do.
Or he didn't have a fire extinguisher to erase the search history back home, so
that's true. That's exactly how you do it. My number 4. So he, this guy, Dean Smith, he walked into a bank and gave them his full name and address. And he went in to change his name and address. So he gave them his current address. And then half an hour later, he walked back in attempting to rob them. And his disguise was he put socks over his shoes. That was his disguise.
So this guy robs a bank and he puts socks over his shoes as his disguise.
Yeah. After he
suddenly he's a totally different person.
No one can tell. As everyone knows, everyone decides by their shoes. If you put socks over your shoes, you erase your footprints, you erase your fingerprints. To be fair, he did also have sunglasses on, and he wound up running because the cashier just refused to give him any money.
So he couldn't even rob the bank, right? Because they were like, no, we're not having this.
I like to imagine when he ran away, he slipped a little because of the...
I want to imagine like him walking in and then being like, oh, we totally thought you were the guy that was just in here. But that guy did not have socks over his shoes.
Obviously,
you were totally different.
It's completely impossible to notice. By the way, the runner-up for this position was the guy who robbed the bank with a cucumber with a sock over it. That was his weapon. Cucumber, put a sock on it. Obviously, everyone's going to think it's a gun.
I have so many comments, but I'm just going to leave it. Wow. Did he actually get any money, or did they just laugh at him?
In both cases, they laughed at him.
Yeah.
In both cases, they told him no, and both people wound up going to prison for like the guy with the socks, I believe, was 2.5 years.
2.5 years for a cucumber.
No, the cucumber was like 2 or 3 years. I think it was a little more. But
so you got to get a cucumber permit in that state.
It is. It's Britain. I mean, this was in Britain, by the way.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, you can't have guns at all, right?
You can't have guns at all. He had a knife, and for the guy with the socks, and they're very polite. He didn't want to leave tracks, so maybe he was just being extra conscientious.
Oh my gosh! Wow. All right, let me pull up my number 4.
Number 4.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Adon Juarez Ramirez had it all figured out. He could be a cop without having to take the boring test.
Yeah,
but he was arrested in Grapevine, Texas, after pulling over a driver in his pickup truck, outfitted with flashing lights. He even had an ID badge, which he made by blacking out a restaurant gift card and etching in the word police. However, he kept the restaurant's logo, a jalapeno pepper, surrounded by the words Chipotle Mexican Grill. So he was a dumb criminal because he was trying to be a cop. And I guess he so desperately wanted to be a cop that he was willing to just pretend to be one. But every cop, obviously has an ID card. So he had to create one of those out of a freaking Chipotle gift card. So
is the end of this story that the person he pulled over was an actual cop? Because that's really how. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and perfect. So that's sorry I didn't get to that last bit. Yes, so the person he pulled over was an actual off-duty cop.
How did the cop know
that he wasn't
that he wasn't a real cop? How is that possible?
Maybe cops only eat at Qdoba.
That is true.
So he was probably suspicious of the Chipotle gift card. But, yeah. I just want somebody to be like, I'm a cop, and then just hand somebody a card that says cop on it.
I'm actually getting business cards made up. If you go to like Vistaprint, you get your first order free. It's just like 250 free gift cards or business cards. So my business cards are just going to say, I'm a cop, Chipotle.
Do it. It reminds me of like I think it was on Community or something. There's an episode where someone's like, what are your credentials? And somebody hands him a piece of paper and it just says, don't ask any. And he's like, this literally is just a piece of paper that says, don't ask any questions. And the person just nods.
I know they had Parks and Rec had Ron Swanson handed them the permit, and his permit just said, I can do what I want.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Or there was one that maybe it was another show where he was like, this is literally written in crayon.
That sounds like a Community line.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. What's your number 4?
My number 3 is...
Oh, 3. Tres.
This is in Colombia. This is a full gang of thieves. So they started their crime spree the day before. They got a getaway vehicle. And 12 hours later, they'd prepared with... They had their getaway vehicle, stolen getaway vehicle prepared. They robbed a convenience store, which they stole food and rum. Then they loaded all their goods into onto their getaway vehicle. Unfortunately, the getaway vehicle they stole was a donkey, and it did not move. It just stood there and started braying. It made so much noise that the police were like, "What's going on with that donkey?" and walked over. And the gang had to just fled on foot, leaving behind all of their stolen rum on the getaway donkey.
Wow! He's like the donkey was like his own car alarm.
He had an alarm. He knew. He just bided his time for 12 hours, waited until just the right moment, and said, "I'm not doing this work." My favorite part is that
the best getaway / vehicle that they could. Wow.
I just came back from Colombia like 3 months ago,
Uh-huh.
and I saw like 5 donkeys the entire time I was there. You can't just find a donkey. Everyone drives like tiny little what's the Chevy Sparks
Yeah.
or tiny little Renaults and motorcycles. Like they're it's not like it's a place where it's not. I mean, maybe they were in backwoods. I didn't look up the city that they were in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. They're not in a place where cars are hard to come by.
Oh my gosh. And they stole it, right? So
Yeah,
they literally just stole the donkey from somebody.
They stole Zavi, the 10-year-old donkey.
He has a name and an age.
And so they didn't even steal a fresh donkey. They stole an old donkey.
Hey man, I got a new ride. Oh yeah, what is it? It's a
Zavi.
It's a 2009 Zavi. Oh wow, that's awesome. All right, let's see. What was my next one? Oh, okay. Before breaking into an apartment, Joey Miller and Matthew McNally decided to put on disguises. And by disguises, we mean they covered their faces in permanent marker. And I love the writer of this article. The thing about permanent marker is that, well, it's permanent. After the burglary, the pair was pulled over by police and immediately recognized because of their hair. Just kidding. It was their faces covered in permanent marker that set them apart from the crowd. So they thought, for some reason, that if they put marker on their face, I'm dumbfounded by this because it's just such a stupid thing to do. And I guess for all the criminals on our list, you have to have a lack of some sort of intellect to attempt some of these things. But yeah, they were like, hey man, how can we prove or how can we prevent anyone from recognizing us? I know. Let's draw marker on our faces.
Have you never been in kindergarten and never done that?
No.
Me neither. No. That seems completely insane.
Well, you were homeschooled, so I assumed.
I know every time I say something like that, you're like, oh wow, a new fact.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume.
I want, like, maybe they were Democratic Virginia candidates for governor. Like maybe they were just going blackface.
That took me a minute. Yeah. Again, so many questions. They literally, you could use a shirt, you could use a hood,
you could use socks over your shoes.
You could use shoes or socks over your shoes. Yes.
You could use tinfoil, as a couple people that didn't quite make my list did. They just covered themselves in tinfoil like burritos.
Well, that was our last part of the list was the tinfoil bandits because they thought the lasers wouldn't recognize them. Yeah, because lasers are impervious to tinfoil.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, my number 2. He's an 18-year-old who robbed a muffler shop in Chicago. And unfortunately, if you rob most places, the money is in the safe.
Yeah, as
Chris,
everybody.
If that happened and most of the money was in the safe, what would you do? How would you overcome this obstacle?
Try and break into the safe?
Okay, that's one option. What's another way? What's maybe the second best option?
I don't know. Apparently, I'm a dumb criminal.
Well, okay. So if we got down to about the 150th best way, you would leave your phone number with the employees to call you when the safe is unlocked. Give your phone number, and I quote, so that you can tell me when the best time is to come back.
To rob the place. Did he say to rob it specifically, or did he pretend like he wasn't?
No, he didn't pretend. Like he held them up. They said that, sorry, the safe is locked, and he gave them his phone number so they could call him back when it was the most convenient time for him to come back.
Well, he's just being, wise in his time management. So, yeah.
I mean, this is why you're not a criminal mastermind. Your first choice was try to break into the safe.
Yeah,
obviously you didn't plan this out the way Ruben Zarate did.
Classic Zarate.
Classic Zarate.
And let me guess, they called him back, and then he showed up, and the police were there.
That would have been amazing. Actually, I don't know. The story didn't say that part. That seems likely, I would guess.
Yeah, like, hey, no problem. We'll give you a call upon your return. Oh, man, I just don't know. Like, oh, shoot, your safe isn't open now? No, sir, it's not. Oh, you know what? Let me just leave my name and number. When the safe is unlocked, just let me know.
That is the plot of at least one great movie. Do you remember that South Korean film where they robbed the gas station twice in a week, and the second time the money was in the safe? So they just hung out at the gas station filling cars for cash.
That movie is literally called something at the gas station, right?
Yeah, Attack the Gas Station.
I'm pretty sure you made me watch that. It was good, though.
I did make you watch that.
Yeah.
It was like 4:30 in the morning for some reason.
Yeah. Good times. All right. So what number are we on?
Number 2.
Numero dos. All right. What do I got? Okay. So a 22-year-old man in Mineral Wells, Texas, landed himself behind bars after allegedly posting on his Facebook page that he had more than a dozen warrants out for his arrest. The warrants range from traffic citations to petty theft and totaled more than $1,200 in fines. And they even have a clip or like a screenshot of his Facebook post, and it says his name, Eddie Smith. And he wrote, "So, I have 16 warrants out right now, period. LOL. They know where I'm at, though, so it must not be too bad."
What's the statistic? Like 1 in 10... I don't remember the statistic, but like some obscene number of criminals live stream their crimes now on Facebook Live.
That is crazy, man. Well, it goes back to that whole attention thing. Like when, so 2 weeks ago when we did this, we had that guy who had to take selfies of himself inside the plane that he was attempting to sneak around in. So yeah. Hey, I'm right here, cops. I guess come get me if you want me. And they did. So
there was another guy who changed his profile picture on Facebook to his wanted poster.
You wait, what?
Yeah, he changed he updated his Facebook profile picture to his wanted poster.
Wow,
obviously.
I mean, he was proud of it. I mean, he had done the work and he wanted to be recognized. So I don't see what the problem is, Zach.
I mean, everyone should be recognized for a good job. That's the problem. Like, there's just not enough personal accomplishment in it. Your bosses don't ever tell you good job.
Mm-hmm. That is insane.
My number one...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. My number one is Donald Chipp Pug. He... didn't show up to court for a DUI case, and also he was a person of interest in arson and vandalism cases, and a few other cases that were minor enough that they hadn't been looked into it. So Ohio, a lot of Ohio people, by the way. Apparently Ohio second to is
Florida,
number 2 to Florida.
Yeah.
So the Lima, Ohio Police Department took an old mugshot of him and posted it on Facebook to see if they could get any tips.
Mm-hmm.
So Chipp thought that the photo they used was ugly. So he sent them an updated picture of himself. And then he called into a radio station and did an interview on air so that everyone would know what he sounded like. He said, and I quote, "Man, they just did me wrong. They just put a picture out that made me look like I was a Thundercat or James Brown on the run. I can't do that." The picture was the picture he replaced it with wasn't really all that much better, honestly.
So is there like a place you go when you're a criminal and you want better photographs for the newspaper and whatnot?
I have like no idea.
A glamour shots for criminals.
My guess is that he posted on Facebook, like he just responded to the post with a better picture and asked them to replace it. Just the fact that he called and did a radio show, radio show interview explaining why he replaced his mugshot.
Well, man, they had a terrible mugshot, and he didn't need it. He had to be recognized.
It made him look like a Thundercat. I literally don't know how. I've seen the picture. It does not make him look like a Thundercat.
It was a great description. I wonder if his girlfriend was like, "Babe, you look better than this," and he was like, "You know what? I do. I'm gonna call that police station. Or I'm gonna Facebook post them and give them an updated photo."
So, yeah, and my favorite part of this is, where do you think he got arrested?
The library?
Florida.
Oh, so he got arrested in Florida.
Yeah, he basically fled to his natural home place of Florida. He was, all of his criminal misdeeds happened in Ohio. The Ohio police were looking for him, and he said, "You know what? Obviously, I know where I belong." And he went there.
Oh my gosh. Well, so I don't know if you're breaking your rule or not, man, because he's kind of a Florida man.
No, he's not a Florida man. He's an Ohio man who attempted to flee to his natural habitat.
Did he flee? Did he flee after he told the police or gave them an updated photo?
I have no idea, actually.
I was just curious if he was like, "I'm going to give him an updated photo," and then he was like, "Oh no, that probably wasn't smart. I better run away now."
It doesn't say, sadly.
Oh, we can only wonder, Zach. We can only wonder. All right, you're gonna like my number one. All right, here we go. The caption for this, by the way, is "The P Bandit Strikes Again."
The P Bandit. Okay, I'm like,
all right, here we go. Crystal Evans, 26, and Denise McClure, 24, were arrested for destruction of evidence when they tried to steal a urine sample that was on its way to a forensic lab. The pair knew that Evans' sample would test positive, sending her back to jail. So they attempted to grab the urine before it reached its destination.
Uh-huh.
However, the driver caught them and called the cops. Ironically, and this is the kicker, Zach, Evans' sample tested negative. But the sample she had to give after being arrested for the pee caper came up positive for meth.
Oh no. Wait, did they pee over the sample?
No.
Okay.
So they broke into the vehicle, or attempted to rob the vehicle of her sample of pee, and because she got caught while doing that, they forced her to do a test, and then she tested positive. So if she had just left the whole thing over, this sounds just like some terrible paranoia. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming that meth would do that to somebody, but yeah, not too bright.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're on meth. You make really, really poor decisions. Normally about tooth care, actually. I've never seen a person on meth go to the dentist. I don't know if that's true or not. I've just made that up. I don't know enough what people on meth look like on a day-to-day basis, so it's very possible there are many meth heads in my dentist office.
Well, I
apologize to meth people.
But yeah, so had they just left it alone, it would have been fine. I mean, that is some credit, because they went through the extra effort of apparently tracking down this vehicle, tracking down the delivery, and then attempting to rob the urine.
That's actually pretty impressive. I mean, that takes a decent amount of work.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these things meet my number one rule of dealing with the police. Never do a dumb thing when you're doing a dumb thing.
So multiplying dumb things?
Yeah.
Exponentially.
Just in life, if you are driving on a slippery road, don't also accelerate quickly. Every criminal, I've looked up criminal stuff, and it seems like every criminal is arrested for doing something stupid while doing something stupid. It's like, you robbed a bank and you got away with it, except that you were driving 15 over the speed limit after you had escaped,
That's a good point. So I guess we're teaching our listeners that if they're going to commit crimes, keep the fault, the moral ambiguity to the crime itself, and don't add to it.
That is what next week's episode isn't going to be. It's going to be a primer on all things crime related, like exactly how to get away with crime. We'll be teaching various crimes. We'll teach the top 7 crimes you can get away with easily. Number 1 is art forgery.
Wait, is that for real? I wouldn't
No.
deny that you would, or wouldn't even argue the fact that you would actually spend time looking up this list before we even discussed it.
No, I just get so confused by art forgery. It's like if you can make a perfect copy of a McDonald's hamburger, you have a job. You just make, and if you can make a perfect copy of a painting, you're a criminal.
Yeah, but like a priceless painting, like a Van Gogh or something, I'm sure is worth millions of dollars. Whereas if you made a copy of it, you might get a couple $100. You're not going to get the million.
You get but if you tell people it's the original.
But yeah, that's the whole point of the forgery, right?
Yeah, that's why it's a crime. By the way, so apparently the art world, like I always wondered why people paid such obscene prices for random art.
Mm-hmm.
And at least one reason I've discovered is because it's a way to launder money easily. So if a painting is just done by a random kid of a drug lord, well, it's not worth much. But art is subjective, so you could pay $50,000 for it, and then you've just washed $50,000 of money.
So it's just a way to, like you said, launder the money and hide it in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think all art is crime, but like paintings are rife with crime.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I should become an artist, a painting artist, not the graphic artist that I am currently.
An artist. Link to Chris's webcomic, Barks at Rockets, at somewhere.com.
Apogee.com.
Apogee.com. Apogee.com. And
Apogee Rockets. ApogeeRockets.com. I don't even know the actual website. It's on the main page, but yeah, ApogeeRockets.com. I want to get a shout out for my comic.
Ah, lovely. Okay, well, I've been told by you immediately before this recording that you had to go after half an hour, and it's been half an hour.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, thank you to your listeners. Thank you to my listeners. Thank you to you listeners if you're the ones listening to. Thanks for listening to the Freaking Epic Podcast, brought to you by sharks. Yes, sharks. If you buy something made of their skin, it's weird. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. I just wanted to take a moment and ask you guys if you would like us, comment us, on us, comment for us, comment through us if you wish, subscribe, leave us a good review on iTunes, follow us, retweet, double click the picture for a little heart thing, make a listicle about the 7 times we reminded you of cute cats, give us a thumbs up like an emperor of old deciding who lives and who dies, give us a rating of 95 in Red Wine Lovers Weekly, right swipe us on Tinder, Friendster us on Friendster, and add us to your top 8 friends on MySpace. Thank you. I just want to thank you so much for doing all those things for us and for listening. Definitely for listening.